Hello everyone! Today you will learn 9 of the most unusual, little-known, and even shocking facts about pirates. Forget everything you saw in Pirates of the Caribbean. The real pirate life was much more interesting. Support our work, like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell so as not to miss new releases about the mysteries of history and incredible events of the past. Sit back, it will be really cool. Let's go! When we imagine a pirate, an image immediately comes to mind: an eye patch, a saber in hand, a parrot on the shoulder. And most often, we think that the patch hides an old wound. But here's an unexpected twist: the patch was used, not because the eye was lost. Many pirates wore an eye patch so that one eye would always remain adapted to the dark. Imagine, you board a ship, there's a fight on deck, and suddenly you need to go down to the hold. It's as dark as a crypt. And there's no time to wait for your vision to adapt. You just take off the patch, and you can see everything. Brilliant, right? By the way, this technique is still used by modern military personnel and even pilots. And pirates knew this long before scientific research. Now they knew tactics. So an eye patch is not just a style. It's a trick that only experienced sea wolves knew about. If you want to look like a pirate, you better remember what that bandage is for. Everyone knows about the flag with a skull, the Jolly Roger. But did you know that pirates did not always start with it? And often, when pirates went aboard, their flag was completely ordinary. Here's how it happened. First, the ship approached under a neutral or even friendly flag: English, Spanish, French. Only when the distance was reduced to several dozen meters, the terrible black flag was raised. And sometimes, blood red, meaning no mercy. This was a real psychological shock for the victim. The flag was raised, and the heart sank. Because everyone knew, if you see a red flag, you will not be taken prisoner. You could survive only by surrendering or running away. The pirate flag was not just a symbol, it was an instrument of fear, and sometimes a chance for salvation. Everything depended on the color. So next time you see a pirate flag in a movie, ask yourself, what flag did they really come with? Forget the idea that piracy is a man's business. History knows many women who did more than just go to sea. They were leaders, warriors, and as fearsome as any captain. 2 of the most famous are Bonnie and Mary Red. Both hid their true identities under men's clothing and fought shoulder to shoulder with men. In one battle on board, they stood to the last, while the men hid in the hold. In court, and said, "If the rest of us had fought like Mary and I, we would not have been captured." These women did more than just participate, they changed the rules of the game. And Bonnie was known for her cruelty and courage, and Mary for her strategic thinking and cold calculation. At sea, gender did not matter. What mattered was strength, spirit, and sabers. Who would have thought that among the most dangerous pirates were women who made the knees of the sternest captains tremble? Forget about pirates roasting meat on a fire somewhere on an island. In fact, meat on a pirate ship is a rarity. There was simply nothing to store it with. Without refrigerators and plenty of salt, meat would start to spoil after a day or two. And that meant the risk of poisoning. Therefore, the pirates' diet was much more modest. Basically, crackers, dried beans, salted fish, cheese, and also dried sea turtle. Yes, there were a lot of turtles in the Caribbean, and their meat did not spoil for a long time. And it was also fatty and high in calories, just what you need when sailing. The pirate diet was dull, but practical. Sometimes they caught fresh fish, collected fruit when landing, or robbed supplies from other ships. But there was no luxury. This proves once again, the life of a pirate was not only dangerous, but also hungry. Would you like to eat turtle soup under the cannon fire? Pirates had pensions. Yes, you heard right. Real pirates organized something like insurance or pensions. If a pirate lost an arm, a leg, or an eye, his crew paid him compensation. For example, for the loss of a right arm, 600 piastres, for the left, less. Pirate solidarity was thought out to the smallest detail. Many will be surprised, but on pirate ships there was democracy. Yes, real, live, and harsh. Unlike the royal fleets, where the captain was the absolute master and the soldiers lived under the fear of the whip, the pirate captain was chosen by vote. Moreover, he could be removed if he did not cope. Each member of the team was entitled to a share of the loot, agreed upon in advance and fairly distributed. There was even compensation for injuries. Lose an arm, get silver. Lose an eye, also compensation. Pirates respected the personal contribution of each and strictly punished theft within the team. Why did such a system work? Because it was a matter of survival. There was no place for dictatorship on a pirate ship. Only a close-knit team could withstand the fleets of empires. This makes pirates not just robbers, but real builders of an alternative society where freedom was worth more than gold. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum is a classic phrase that can be heard in almost every pirate movie. But the truth is that it is pure Hollywood fiction. Historical chronicles do not contain a single reliable evidence that pirates ever said anything like this. This phrase appeared in the 19th century in the novel Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. It was he who gave the world the romantic pirate, cheerful, drunk, with a parrot on his shoulder and a wooden leg. And although the reality was much darker, the image stuck, thanks to theater, books, and cinema. Real pirates swore rather than sang songs. Their speech was full of nautical terms, curses, and cries in different languages. They were an international gang, and spoke a mixture of English, French, Spanish, and African dialects. So next time you hear yo-ho-ho, remember, it's not the voice of pirates, it's the voice of literature. It seems that pirates lived by the principle of do what you want. But no. Each ship had its own set of rules, the so-called pirate charter. It clearly spelled out the norms of behavior, the distribution of loot, a ban on gambling, and even silence during rest. Violation of these rules was punished severely, from fines to landing on an uninhabited island. For example, for killing a crew member, you yourself could end up overboard. For theft, too. Pirate discipline could be tougher than in the Royal Navy. The rules were written by hand and read out loud to the entire crew. Each pirate had to agree to them before the start of a raid. It was like a signed contract, with bloody consequences for breaking it. Paradoxically, the chaos on a pirate ship was strictly organized. Without this, there would be no victories or survival. After all, pirates knew, freedom is not permissiveness, but an order chosen with your own hands. When we think of pirates, we think of the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, and Blackbeard. But did you know that the most successful pirate in history was not from Europe at all? It was a Chinese woman named Zheng Shi, or as she was known in the West, Madame Qin. In the early 19th century, she commanded a fleet of over 300 ships and 70,000 men. It was an entire army that terrorized the Chinese coast. Even men who had previously been admirals obeyed her. And yes, she ruled by her own rules, too. She made a unique deal with the Chinese government. She agreed to lay down her arms in exchange for amnesty and enormous wealth. She was not executed or exiled, but given the opportunity to open a business and die a rich and respected woman. So forget Jack Sparrow. The real queen of the seas wore Chinese clothes and ruled the largest pirate empire in history. This is what real pirates are like. Not movie heroes, but smart, organized, and dangerous sea wolves. Their lives were full of risk, but also freedom. If you liked these rare and interesting facts about pirates, support the video with a like and a subscription. There are more stories from the real history of pirates and seas ahead. Write in the comments which fact surprised you the most. And see you, friends, in the next videos, where legends come to life.